Zach, obviously, you're a kind of a hot commodity over the offseason. Just what do you feel like you maybe learned about yourself as a coach over the last year and over this offseason? And what did that kind of mean to you maybe as a coach?
I don't. I mean, I don't know if that's a two-part question. What I learned from the season is I got to become a heck of a lot better coach because we didn't play well enough on defense to achieve all of our goals. And so, you spend the offseason studying the film and seeing all the bad calls you made or the mistakes you made on maybe how you taught something or, anytime you don't play well enough on defense, that means you didn't do a good enough job coaching it. And so every single one of us on the staff, that's the message from Coach Leach. We got to find ways to improve as coaches because we got to find ways to improve our players on the field.
David?
Coach, with just 2 days into practice, just what do you think of the physical conditioning of your defensive guys and the job Coach Brown has done over the winter?
Coach Brown does a tremendous job. I mean, there's a reason in the offseason, we just kind of hand the keys over to him and let him run the show. Is because he knows exactly how to get guys strong and in shape and prepared for, in this case, get them prepared, get them in tip-top shape for spring practice, and then we'll do the same thing after spring ball. He'll take over, and he'll do what he does, and he'll have them raring to go for the season.
Joel?
Zach, when you look at this defense, obviously the loss of Errol and Kobe are pretty huge. Just how do you go about replacing that leadership and not just leadership, but obviously the Errol spot a key position at middle linebacker and things. Is that kind of Buki's spot to kind of step into there and try and fill those shoes?
Well, he's running with the ones right now, so he's got the first shot at it. But spring practice is all about competition, and so we'll try multiple guys there, and we'll find who does the best job and who gives us the best chance to play good defense and win. I happened to see Errol at practice on Thursday, and I don't know. I mean, I'm all for filing a petition or something to see if he wants to come back and play another season, but right now it's Buki and everyone else in that room's job to compete and win the job.
Go back to David.
Coach, looking and starting at the defensive line there, are you looking at ways at possibly of having Jaden Crumity and Nathan Pickering on the field at the same time, or do you still expect to rotate them at nose?
Well, who are you asking for? All the other teams in the conference, or no? It's almost the exact same answer to the previous question, right? We're going to try a million different combinations and find the best 11 football players and get them on the field. Maybe we're not a 3-3-5. Maybe we're a 4-2-5 next year. Who knows?
Joel?
Obviously, Martin Emerson and Emmanuel Forbes going to get a lot of preseason praise and things for what their ability is and what they're able to do. Is there anything you need to, I guess, try and keep those guys in check to make sure you don't get the big head or something like that heading into a season? Or is there anything that even needs to be said to guys like that?
I think both guys have their head on right. Coach McBath does a tremendous job of running that room, and there's plenty of film from last season where those guys they've already watched it and they know there's plays that could have been better on, and so fortunately they're the right type of guys. They're all about improvement, so they spend more time critiquing their negative plays than getting a big head about their positive plays. But that's the other benefit of going against Coach Leach's air raid every day is if you're a DB, if you're in coverage at all, that'll quickly humble you going against that offense.
Ben?
Zach, obviously Errol and Kobe are guys that were really vocal last year. Just who do you kind of see stepping into those roles and being some of those vocal guys on your side of the ball?
I don't know. I think it's way too early to tell. I mean, to be honest with you, if we don't have any vocal guys, it don't really matter as long as we have guys who show up and, play the game the right way and do things the right way and play the type of defense we expect to play. But, I'm sure like every year, guys emerge. Some guys tend to be vocal guys. Some guys are more quiet. Frankly, all I care about is we got 11 guys out there who are flying around and playing defense the right way.
David?
Coach, is Fred Peters at 100% right now, and is he still looking at that dog safety position, or who else might be working at those, to challenge him at that job?
I believe he's 100%. I mean, he's out there practicing, so he wouldn't be out there if he didn't get the full go from the training staff. I imagine like everyone else, right? You got to run yourself into game shape. And so he's probably got some conditioning to do, but no, in terms of health wise, he's 100% full live football. And then obviously that's a very deep room right now. We got some guys, Dylan Lawrence, Janari Dean, probably some other guys I'm forgetting who had season-ending injuries last year. Well, now those guys are getting a chance to go through a spring practice and show they can compete. And so I think unless I'm mistaken, I think the whole safety room is returning. And so we ought to have a great competition this spring for those three positions.
Joel?
Zach, is Jalen Green kind of in the mix for those spots? And just kind of what are some of your early impressions of Jalen Green? And obviously you may not have seen him much here, but on film and just kind of your early thoughts on him.
Yeah, I think, with Jalen, obviously it's going to be kind of the same routine answer I've been given is we're going to try him out at a variety number of spots and see where he best fits and helps us, where he's most natural. Obviously we've only had 2 practices, just, in helmets and shorts. So that's not playing football. Football's played with pads on when you're striking, delivering blows and hitting. So about the only thing we've been able to tell right now with anyone is whether they can run and change directions and have a general idea of their assignments. And I would say right now, at least he's showing we know why we recruited him to come here, because, he can run and change directions like you would expect a Division I football player to do. So, pads go on Tuesday. We'll start seeing if he can play football along with everyone else. I mean, every single guy out there has got to show they can play football.
Ben?
Zach, obviously CJ Morgan missed a lot of time last year and didn't totally get healthy till the end. Just what's it like to be able to have him back, at least going through spring ball and as an older guy, just have him in the mix?
Yeah, I mean, you talk to CJ. I mean, the maturity oozes out of him. He's obviously played a lot of football. Played in a lot of SEC games. 2 years ago, and so that experience is, it is incredibly valuable. And he knows, he's got a guy who doesn't get too high, doesn't get too low. He understands that there's highs and lows in this game, and so he just follows the mentality that Coach Leach preaches. Right, play the next play. Don't matter what happened with the previous play, you play the next play. And so when you got older guys in your program who have that type of maturity and experience, they're incredibly valuable.
David?
Coach, last fall, most obviously the teaching you had to do with the team was, preseason, in season. What's the difference in being able to, I apologize for our deadly attack. Morky's going nuts here at the house. What's the advantage in having a spring to actually teach, instruct, evaluate, and not have the game pressure?
Yeah, I think the really nice thing that you probably take for granted maybe as a coach is spring practice, right? We get a day off in between practices, so you can really get in the meeting room, dig into the film, spend a lot of time coaching and teaching, whereas in fall camp, you're practicing every day. You're trying to get ready for a season. And so, and you have them longer in fall camp, don't get me wrong, but it's nice in spring to be able to have a little slowed down. You're not ramping up for an opening game. You got time, a day in between to really, dig into the film, and then you can have one-on-one meetings with guys. And so hopefully we make the most of it and we increase our understanding of not only just the defense, but the entire game of football.
Any other questions? All right.